darkness pulls me under. I guess mama was right. 'Cause when the clock strikes midnight, gonna rise the lightning, feel the thunder, till the darkness pulls me under. I guess mama was right. 'Cause when the clock strikes midnight, gonna rise the lightning, feel the thunder, till the darkness pulls me under. I guess mama was right. 'Cause when the clock strikes midnight, gonna rise the lightning.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Smoking and Joking Show. My name is Beth King, and I'm with my amazing husband, Jimmy King, a partner in crime. And we're here with Richard Kaufman.
What's up?
Howdy, Richard.
Hey, what's up, my brother? How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I love coming on to other people's shows because I don't have to think anything and I can just riff. So I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're really glad to have you here. I've been kind of watching your page for a while now. And I actually even also saw you on Project Refit earlier today. So I was like, wow, you're really getting in there today.
Yeah. I was excited to be on.
You talked out.
Oh, no, I'm never talked out.
Sounds like me.
My wife says I don't shut up. So.
Huh. Jimmy King never says that about me.
I don't know what that feels like. I swear. So tell us a bit about yourself. You're an Army vet. You've got your own podcast. You've got a book. Tell us all about it.
My name is Richard Kaufman, also known as the Comeback Coach. I was the worst soldier. I went from worst soldier to soldier of the year. I got joining the military. I got thrown out for being a drug addict. Got back in, almost got thrown out again for a second time. 9/11 saved my life, and we can talk about that later. And I had a chance meeting with a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, and that's how the whole podcast started. He told me to write my book, so now I got 2 top-selling books. I'm just here to help save veterans' lives, man. That's my whole goal this year, is to save 30 million veterans and first responders' lives this year. So it's a big goal, but that's my goal. Every day I wake up, that's what my purpose is.
Outstanding. So
I wanted to talk about some of your backstory, because one of the things that really was drawn to your story that touched me was, like you said, you had a drug addiction issue.
Yeah.
And something Jimmy and I can relate to is you've often talked about how your wife was one of the things that has been not only an inspiration, but one of your saviors in that.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that and kind of share your story and in that process, how it's changed your life?
Yeah, my wife, we dated when we were in junior high school.
Oh, wow.
And so she knew me when I was at my worst, and now she knows me when I'm at my best. But without her, even I'm clean 36 years now.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Even when we go out to dinner, she still tastes every drink that goes in my mouth when we go out to dinner. Even when she bakes cookies at home, she will not use the vanilla extract. She buys special vanilla extract. So she knows that I can't have any alcohol in my system whatsoever. So she protects my blind side. And if you guys don't know, I'm 60% blind. So when I say she protects my blind side, she literally protects protects my blind side. So and she keeps me grounded, because sometimes she'll be like, "You're being an asshole. You need to go to a meeting." So she knows when I'm having my ups, my downs. She knows that when I'm struggling, like about maybe a year ago, I tried to take myself out, and if it wasn't for her, I would have taken myself out. But if it wasn't for her taking me into bed and just holding me for 5 or 6 hours until the demons left, then I probably wouldn't be here today. So without her, I would not even probably be breathing today.
That's
I think
amazing.
I think that's awesome. I think a lot of people in recovery, you know, have struggled with that, being able to say, okay, I've created all this damage in my life, and it takes a lot to get that back. And there's people that are great in our lives that can see when we're falling short and can see those relapses, or see when there's a potential of a relapse before a relapse, that can say, hey, you need to kind of check yourself before even it happens. Like, that's what Jimmy does for me. Hey, you might want to, check in and see what's going on with you. That I might not notice, because you're lost in your own when you're battling with mental health and with addiction issues. It's really hard sometimes to see it before it's too late. So I think it's really great to have those people. We aren't
You know,
all so lucky.
and like I tell my sponsees, you're either working on your recovery or you're working on a relapse. One of the
Exactly.
two. And I believe I'm an old school guy. I'm an old school recovery. I believe that you don't have to relapse, because a
No.
lot of people, a lot of people think I got one more run in me. I got one more party to go to. They don't come back. So I tell everybody, you don't have to relapse. That's a choice.
Yes. I 100% agree with that. There was
Yeah.
a long time that, I had to learn what my triggers were and know what they were. And for instance, for me, was money. As just as a simple one. And I didn't carry cash for a long time, or a limited amount. And, I had to earn Jimmy's trust in different ways, with my mental health. You know, I had to have Jimmy say, hey, are you, being bipolar? I didn't always take my meds. That was an issue I struggled with. And Jimmy would have to say, have you been taking your meds? And I couldn't always be like, F you. I had to sit there and be like, no, do I need a medication adjustment? Because not all people can just, not take medications.
Yeah.
There's a balance to everything.
Yep.
And it's learning yourself, knowing yourself, taking accountability, that I think is really important. And having sober coaches, having people to, sponsors, I think is really important. I think everybody's journey is different.
Mhm.
But I think, like, following AA and NA books, um, was a life changer for me. Getting my mental, into recovery groups was one of my main components, because I think when I first started getting clean, it was doing one but not the other, or doing just spiritual and not doing AA and mental health. And it's one of those things, you have to kind of get all of those things, and giving up the power. And I think it's amazing. Not only have you had those amazing supports, but then also passed it on to others and given them the opportunity to kind of give this.
Well, I know that I cannot have what I cannot give away. So I can't keep it to myself. And I know
Right.
that I'm one drug or one drink away. Even with 36 years, I'm one drink or one drug away. So I always make sure that I try to stay green at all times. I don't want to go back. I don't want to
No.
go back to day one.
And one thing that I commend both of you on, as far as that goes, you from the way you're talking, as far as that goes, and Beth, from personal experience, obviously, as far as is concerned, would be the willingness to accept the question. Like Beth said, when I have questions or whatever, as far as it goes, you can see the frustration, but she tries her damnedest to not let it get to her. If I say, hey, have you been taking your meds, or ask what's going on or whatever, as far as it goes, for you to say that your wife will try a sip of every drink,
Yeah.
and question what's in the baked products or whatever, as far as it goes, and everything. The acceptance of allowing someone to look out for you that way is a big step, and I don't think a lot of people recognize that it is that big of a step.
But
So
I also realize that after 36 years, if I go down in my fridge downstairs, there's wine, beer, hard iced tea. I just don't drink. So, but I can't get mad
Right.
at anybody else around me that does. And when people ask me, when we go out, the waiter will ask me if I want a drink, and I'll say, no, I'm allergic to alcohol. I break out in handcuffs, and we all laugh and have fun with it. But I have no problem with people drinking around me. I'll pour beer for them or wine for them. I just don't drink. I'm a non-drinker. That's what I think about it. My theory is I drink, I die. Next. There is no other way. I drink, I die. That's it. So for me, it's a non-issue.
I'm gonna pause right there for just a sec. Just to once again thank everybody for that's joining us. Michael, Glenn, Venom 420 over on YouTube. Lance McElhaney, Samantha Green. We see all you guys. Let's see. Michael Glenn said that's a great purpose as far as your goal to save. What did you say? 13 million or 30 million?
30 million veterans and first
30 million.
responders.
He said, God bless. That's a great purpose. Samantha Green said, love you, lady. Proud of you. I've got 160 days today.
Congratulations.
Michael Glenn said, damn, I need to hear this message right now. And he also said it's hard because it feels like you have to admit weakness, and that can be intimidating around some people. As far as it goes. So, for all our viewers, for anybody that's logged in at the moment, if you haven't already, would you please highlight in the comments there so that we can broadcast this show out to as many people as we can. And Beth, back to you.
I just wanted to say, for people, especially with alcoholism, it's everywhere. My story was I had breast cancer. I was overprescribed my pain meds and got addicted to pain meds. Now, when I say that, I make it very clear. At a very early on point, I can't even pinpoint exactly. I knew exactly that I was addicted to those pain meds, and I continued. And that point, I made those choices to continue my addiction before I got help. But when it becomes an alcohol issue, you see this, and to me, it's different because you're faced with it every single day. It's different to me. It's different, and it's not as difficult because I don't encounter pain meds as often. Now, when I do, have surgeries and things like that come up, I know how to stay away, and I have it set up where I don't have to take pain meds. So I have the utmost, respect for people who battle alcoholism because it's everywhere. When you go to restaurants, when you watch TV, just day-to-day activities, it's a lot harder to battle. So to have that support, I think is extremely important. So congratulations, Samantha, on the 180 or 160 days. I mean, congratulations, and never feel weak. It's not weak to admit, Michael, if you have any addiction issues. This is a pandemic that's going around our country, and we have to really, highlight people and let people know that, or break, not highlight, I'm sorry, break the stigma of addiction and mental health issues, so that people can know that you're not alone, and there are people that can relate to you, whether it's with me with prescription medication, or Richard with, alcoholism. It's definitely something that we should talk about, and there's definitely
Yep,
support out there.
I agree. But I wrote a post today that if you're an adult and you're still blaming your mommy and your daddy for the life that you led, everything you've ever done has led you up to this point, and you're the only one that can get you out of this rut. I mean, there's help, there's support, but you got to have to say, listen, I need help, and I need help now, and I need to do whatever it takes to get out of this mess. Because if you did whatever it takes to get to the dope man, you should do whatever it takes to get sober.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lance McElhaney said that he's in recovery from his addiction to broken women. I think he might be giving that addiction up for his addiction to porn, but we'll see. Um, love you, Lance. Um, Michael Glenn also said that broken women or wounded women are his kryptonite. So, but no. Oh, I thought I was about to get slapped on the wrist from our producers. Um, uh, so Richard, you did how many years in the army?
I did 23 years active duty and National Guard time until I got hurt on duty and lost my vision, and they decided they didn't need me. So they medically discharged me Labor Day 2012, and that was the day that I attempted suicide.
Oh,
Mm. Well,
Because
we're definitely
if
glad you're still around.
what happened, I'm sorry.
I said we're definitely glad you're still around.
Oh, thank you. And that was the day that, because a lot of military personnel, once we're no longer in, we lose our identity. We lose, well, I was Sergeant Kaufman, Soldier of the Year, blah blah blah. Well, who am I now that I don't have a rank? Who am I now that I don't have a uniform anymore? Who's Richard? And I think a lot of veterans fa- face the same thing. Well, who am I when I hang up this uniform for the last time?
Yeah, that's definitely a struggle that um, I fought with for a while, as far as it goes, and I know a lot of veterans fight with it. Is that transition, that lack of structure, lack of a mission? It can be rough.
Yeah, and then you get a lot of veterans or first responders, because I do both. A lot of us, when we retire or are retired, we're left with nothing but our memories. And veterans and first responders, we do shit and we see shit that no human should ever see or do. So, what do you do now when you're alone with just your memories and you're dealing with survivor's guilt? You're dealing with emotional guilt of things you might have done or might have seen. And now you're just looking at the bottom of a bottle and maybe the end of a barrel. So that's why I think we need to talk about mental health, post traumatic stress, post traumatic growth, and some of these other things. So veterans, when they're getting out, they're not going to be eating their gun at the high rate that they're eating their guns right now.
Amen on that one.
100%. Uh, I'm sure you don't know this, but my brother was a Marine who, lost his battle with his demons. And I think it's exactly like you said, getting out, losing his purpose, and, not knowing how to continue, not knowing how to deal with the emotions and that anger, getting in trouble and knowing that's not the person he was and not knowing how to continue and ended up taking his life. And I find that so many get lost in that cycle of this is not the person, man or female, I had planned on becoming and who I had always identified as. And it's a real hard struggle and sometimes when they get themselves stuck in it. And the pride of not being able to reach out or feeling they're able to reach out, the not wanting to burden people. And I would rather hear a phone call at 3 a.m. from anybody, complaining or, pouring their heart out about whatever's going on in their life than to get a phone call saying I've got to show up to somebody's funeral.
And and I always say, when you get on that C-130, um, and you come back on that C-130 or whichever way you come back, you're not the same person. You're not the same person that left. You're totally different. And this is something that I talk on my show a lot. I don't hear about it a lot. We talk about it called moral injury, because we see and do stuff that we should never see or do, and then we got to come home and try to fit in to today into the normal standards. When now we've seen all this stuff and done all this stuff, and like I talked to General Petraeus, I said, "Sir, you train us to go to war. You don't train us to come home."
Right.
And the we may leave, or the people that have been outside the wire, you know, they may leave the war, but the war doesn't leave them when they get home.
Yeah, I've
So I
heard.
think, and that's the stigma that we're talking about.
Now I've heard it put several different ways, in as far as that goes. I mean, it's even been referenced in movies as far as like what was that movie with Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro, The Hunted, where he talks about they trained him to be a killer, this, that, and the other, but they never trained him to turn it off.
Yeah,
I've heard people reference they half train you, half expect you, or you just learn how to, and when you're in a combat zone or in a combat environment, how to turn your feelings off and make yourself numb to, like you're saying, all the stuff you see, all the stuff you do,
yeah,
as far as it goes. But then no one teaches you how to turn it back on.
yeah. Like
Or
the
turn your
military, they teach you how to compartmentalize, but they don't teach you how to unlock that door again. Because some of the feelings and everything gets locked up behind lock and key. And now when you're supposed to feel something, you really can't. And we're also very hypersensitive to where, if we go into a room, we're looking for spaces, we're looking for people, we're looking for ways to get out. A lot of us can't sit with our backs towards the door because we think we're going to be ambushed. And there's a reason why the average male in the United States dies at 78. The average veteran or first responder dies at 58. 20-year difference, because we're always on that. We're always on the lookout. We're always on that rush. We're always stressed out. And a lot of people don't realize that. That's why we're dying early, is because we're always on edge.
Now, I don't even know what the statistics are for. I know that when we're talking about veterans, it's the numbers are always, and I know they're much higher, is 22 a day. Do you know it, like, roughly the statistics are for veterans and first responders?
Okay, now this is going to be kind of. They say that the number is 22, right?
Right.
But only 50% of the states report suicide. So now we're up to 44. But they don't count the people that drank themselves to death. They don't
And
count the
that's what
people.
I always say. The
They
ones
don't count. They don't count
that
the people that ran their car off the road into a tree. They don't
right.
count all that. So we're probably looking at anywhere between 50 and 60 veterans and first responders a day taking their lives.
And the reason why I was asking that is because with with first responders, you know, it's very much that culture is they can't really go in and say, hey, I'm having these thoughts, because the threat of losing your job is very real.
Yeah.
Where back when Jimmy was getting out in '04, it was very much the culture to not talk about PTSD and not talk about having these thoughts, because you could possibly, lose your benefits, or, not get treatment, or not possibly, be early discharged and medically, get out and lose your job. Where
Yeah.
now, mental health has gotten better as far as not getting kicked out of the military, but that has not correlated when it comes to first responders and being able to stay in their active roles and in their prospective jobs.
Yeah. And also somebody we don't really talk about the dispatchers.
Yeah.
Um 90% of dispatchers struggle with PTS because there's never an end game. They don't know what happened. So a lot of that stuff is, oh, I called an officer into a shootout. Now he's dead. It's my fault. So a lot of us don't really talk about the dispatchers, but they go through a lot with PTS also.
Oh, I'm sure.
Guys, I'm going to take a quick pause here for just a second. Throw out the commercials. For everybody that's watching, if you're looking to improve your business, start a veteran-owned business or organization, and or sell your services to the government, reach out to Artias for all your business needs. That's YESRTS.com. For all your health and fitness needs, reach out to Anthony Chapontier at amcjfitness@gmail.com. And for all your beauty needs, reach out to Ralphine at Dare Beauty Essentials over on TikTok, and she will get you hooked up. Yeah. Oh, and of course, to toot our own horns, come join us over on Crown Eater's Wife 1775 on Facebook. We do our best to try to make everybody spit their coffee out at least once a day and put a smile on your face and keep you laughing, keep you out of those dark places. And we've got some nice merch over on CEW 1775.org. Click on the shop, and we've got some sweatshirts, some t-shirts, coffee mugs, hats, all sorts of stuff over there. So come check us out. Oh, Richard, not to change the subject too drastically, but the other thing I was going to ask about, you've got, it was 2 books, correct?
Yep, I got 2 books, and at the end, I'm going to be offering one of them for free. The first book is my life story. It talks about everything that I went through. The last 2 chapters are on mental health and what does addiction look like. It's not what you think it looks like. and what is depression looks like. It's not what you think it looks like. So it's a self-help book also. I'll be giving that for free away for free at the end. We'll talk about that. And my second book is how to start a purposeful, powerful, profitable podcast. Because a lot of people everybody wants to start a podcast, but the average podcast lasts about 12 episodes, and then they're out of business. And I teach people how to stay in business and how to become profitable even before your first episode is released.
Wow. Awesome.
So that's what the two books are about.
And I was waiting for that one to come up. That you mentioned that Theo, our producer, said, "Hey, we made it to episode 73, which is
Good.
what we're on now. So
We're
doing pretty good."
We made it to episode 6.
Yeah, Beth.
Theo made it to episode 73.
I think I'm on episode 1370 something
Awesome.
stupid.
That's awesome.
Something.
So we need that book.
It's something stupid, but I love it. I have fun with it. I enjoy it.
Outstanding. Going back to these comments here real quick. Let's see, where were we? Now, Lance responding to my comment about him trading it in one addiction for his porn addiction. He said he didn't mind that too much. He kept I'm sorry, it jumped on me. Says it keeps his forearm muscles in tone. Michael Glenn said that he didn't mind back when we was talking about getting out and having a lack of a mission or whatever, as far as it goes. He didn't mind that too much, but he does miss the camaraderie to this day. He went for years not knowing how to reach out to someone or reach out and just tell someone that he was hurting. Lance said that when he was talking about statistics, as far as the average male makes 78, where veterans make it 58, he said he pisses off women frequently enough that he doubts he'll live to get to that age.
I can contest.
I forget what we was talking about when he said that they give you a grippy sock vacation, but Michael Glenn said he got out in 2023 and I didn't tell anybody in my command that I had PTSD because I thought if I did, they'd lock me up and give me a dishonorable discharge. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, not 2023, 2003. My eyes are going.
2003, run your time frame.
Yep. When we said we made it, we made it to episode 73, and you said you made it to 1300 and something. Theo said, "Now we're just comparing penis size."
1300.
No, I'm still that small. So you win. You win.
Oh, so let's see. Talk about your service. Talk about your books and your podcast. Beth, was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we get into looking for some bad advice?
Let's do. It's 8:30, so let's do that bad advice one. I'm sure we have a couple more things to talk about, but let's get at least one bad advice. If you were going to start a podcast, because I was thinking what we could do is whoever can come up with the best bad advice for the question, you could give them your podcast.
Okay.
So the question will be, if they're gonna start a podcast, what would the bad advice be?
You want me to answer that question? Or is that for the audience?
Well, we try to get everybody to
Okay.
answer, but
While they're taking their because they've got to type everything out, obviously, or whatever. You can give your answer as far as what your bad advice would be to someone who was looking to start a podcast. Beth and I could think of something, and then we'll move to the comments from there.
Oh yeah, I would start a MAGA. I would start a MAGA podcast, and it would be nothing but Republicans talking bad about everybody else. I think that would be a great podcast, and I think you'd probably get canceled in about 8 minutes. I'd say even 8, 9 minutes. So that's what I would do. That would be my bad piece of advice.
My advice would be is you remember the scene in what was it? Jim Carrey's Pet Detective, Ace Ventura. I think it was that one where he's right in the back of a car or whatever, sticks his butt up in between the people. He's like, "Mind if I ask you a question?" I would say do the entire podcast as if you're a talking butthole.
So you would start a Democratic podcast? Sorry. I had to go there.
Darn it. Here, put me
Yep,
in,
there it
Coach.
is.
Yeah.
All righty. Let's see. Lance McElhenney said, "Show people how to properly wipe their ass." That would be an interesting subject for a podcast for sure.
Yeah. And get
Well, my 10-year-old will not be a host, but maybe.
Get sponsored by toilet paper companies. Yeah.
Or dispose, or what is it?
There you go.
Wipes.
Theo said, "Start a podcast based on Helen Keller. Only reach out to people who have the Helen Keller." I'll have to let you either finish that one or retype it. The only reach out to people who have the Helen.
Fight club between Republicans and Democrats. I actually think that might be successful. I think it'll slap contest. The slap contest. I quite enjoy that. I thought it was stupid, but
have
I think it's funny.
Slap contest podcast, but don't tell the guests until they get on the show that it's not just a normal slap; it's a dick slap. Helen Keller was the lady who hit Nazis. She cannot see her here. Oh yeah, sorry. I knew who Helen Keller was, just the way it was worded. I apologize. My brain's not braining tonight, so yeah. Start a podcast only for people who are like Helen Keller. They can't see or hear, so you start a podcast for them. That would be interesting.
Okay, I got a story about that, and we could talk about that later. But I think if we're gonna have a slap podcast, we should ask people questions, and then when they get them wrong, slap the shit out of them, without them knowing that that's what the podcast is about.
I'm sorry, I'm envisioning this, and that could be quite hilarious. Alrighty, Lance McElhaney said this is how babies are made. Yeah, so start a podcast where guys introduce their wives to their side chicks.
That would be good.
I think Maury did that already, right? Was it Maury or was it Jerry Springer? Yeah.
Springer.
Jerry Springer. Oh. All right, so next bad advice. You got someone that wrote in says, I'm addicted to autoerotic asphyxiation. What advice do you have?
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that one. I guess just keep pumping. I mean, eventually it'll have to go down, and you won't hang yourself.
I would say that. Go ahead, Beth.
Use the the cords for the old ladies. I've fallen and I can't get up. Use that to hang yourself, so when the cord pulls, it'll at least call an ambulance for you.
So when the people, when the life alert people come online and say, "Can I help you?" You go, ah! My bad advice for that one would have to be extra large zip ties or your friend.
Okay.
If you get the zip tie too tight, it's hard to anyway.
Or have a picture of Roseanne Barr and you'll never start to begin with.
All right, Theo, you got any winners?
Lance.
McElhaney.
Lance is a big winner.
All
Lance,
right.
Winner chicken dinner.
Well, Lance, you're a long time watcher. Shoot your email over to us. We'll make sure.
Unfortunately, we all know how to get.
Yeah, Richard will make sure you can. We get his email over to you.
He's been in everyone's
contact info.
DM.
They'll get it to you after the show.
Yep.
Oh, let's see. What time is it? All right, we still got time. A minute ago, I had one other bad advice, but now I've brain farted.
And also, guys, there's a link to Richard's podcast. If you click the QR code, that will be how you guys can check it out.
Yep, we're on YouTube. If you don't like to listen to podcasts, we're on YouTube. If you guys like the movie Karate Kid, or if you like Cobra Kai, we just had one of their stars on there. So that's our latest episode. So if you want to come check us out, come check us out. We have fun stuff. We have all kinds of different things. It's veteran focused. If you want to start a business, I actually have a billionaire that's going to tell you how to start a business next week.
Awesome.
Because I found that if a veteran, say, starts a business or a 501(c) or a podcast or a YouTube channel, and he has a mission again, he's much less likely to take his own life because he knows he has a bigger mission. And that's why I started the podcast. And it's this way people know there's a bigger mission after we take our uniforms off.
And that's something I do love watching. You do love to share other people's stuff. Like I see we're very familiar in that way as well. Is we like to share what other people are doing, and there is a lot of cracks in our system, and I think we both are very like-minded in that working together we can do great things. And I'm always seeing that you are sharing other people's stuff, showing that, hey, I might not be able to do it, but hey, this person is able to do it. And you might not find it at the VA, but here's some other resources. And, this might not work for, some people, but this could. And I really love that about you. You know, you really do have a lot of connections and you're always willing to share them and, you know, look at other ways to help veterans. And it's not, I just don't see a lot of selfishness in you. It is really pure from the heart. And you really do like try to put yourself out there to help as many
Yeah,
people
and I
as
do,
possible.
and guys,
So I
I do have
appreciate
a Facebook group on Facebook. It's called Veterans Supporting Veterans. I think we're 11,000 strong veterans. So if you guys are looking for any resources, go to Veterans Supporting Veterans. Any kind of resources you need. If I don't know somebody, I'll find somebody that can help you out in whatever you need.
And Beth,
thank you, thank you,
I'm going to
thank
make
you.
you toot your own horn here a little bit. You want to give everybody a shout out on the commercial break here and tell them about Crown Eater's wife?
Oh, yes, Jimmy and I have finally just launched our Crayon Eater's Wife. We are focusing through healing through laughter to break the stigma of mental health and addiction. We're doing like different comedy shows to raise money for other organizations and healing through, like I said, laughter and arts. We're doing right now, we've got our 501c approved through the state. We're finishing up our paperwork to get it through the federal process. It's used to be free, not anymore. So we're finishing that up, selling sweatshirts and stuff to help us pay for our events and the rest of our paperwork process. So check us out at CW1775.
I like it.
You can come check out our cool shirts that we've got posted up there. We've got coffee cups, sweatshirts, t-shirts, men's and women's, hats, both trucker hats and ball caps. Should be getting a set of dog tags up here soon. Yeah, and come check us out on the Facebook page as well. Like I said, we'll try and make you laugh. For all those looking to improve their businesses and or start a business or sell your services to the government, reach out to Artias at yesrts.com. Those guys really know their shit. They are the ones that are helping us build our organization as far as it goes. They've walked us through the entire process step by step. They've helped us build the website. If you're a service disabled veteran, reach out to them through vets365.org, VETS365.org. They'll do all the same things for you for the service disabled veterans, free of charge, for all your health and fitness needs. Reach out to Anthony Chapontier at amcjfitness@gmail.com. Anthony's off starting his own book. He's got his own fitness program set up. He'll get you right and get you healthy. And for all your beauty essentials, reach out to Ralph and Khan over at Their Beauty Essentials on TikTok.
And our hypothetical hijinks, Jimmy.
Okay, so Richard, you're the pastor in the middle of a sermon, and a stripper shows up saying, "You were at the club last night," and you were. What do you do?
Well, as long as it was as a female stripper, because if it was a male stripper that came in, I would just say I was just checking to make sure you were circumcised. If it was a male, if it was a female, um, I was just looking for a new secretary.
Um,
I went for twerking advice.
So you're the pastor.
Since I got
So
the boy
Beth,
girl moves.
Beth, you're the pastor at the church, and you went to the club for twerking advice. So you can twerk down the aisle or up in the pulpit.
No, I didn't want my husband lusting after any other women.
Oh.
It's all your fault. It's all your fault. It's always your fault.
I went. If I was the pastor, I would just have to respond with I went to ensure that I knew exactly how much I needed Jesus.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was the other one-legged guy.
It wasn't me. It was the other one-legged guy. Theo said that I would say that I was helping single mothers and college students out, and that Jesus loved women of the night as much as he loved everyone else. This is true. I mean, everybody talks about what is it, Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
So
that was allegedly. Allegedly, she was a whore.
Right. Lance McElhenney said that we spread the word absolutely everywhere. And he also said, I like to help poor people. The employees there are so poor that they don't even have clothes.
That was good.
Michael Glenn said, if you're not dick slapping your guest, though, he's not interested.
That must have been back when we were talking about the podcast.
Oh, we did have one more gift to give away that you had an offer for, and I wanted you to kind of tell us more a little bit about
what I said when we talked on the phone earlier, if anybody's struggling with anything addiction wise, business wise, podcast wise, I'm giving away an hour of my time for you, whether it's on a phone, through StreamYard, through whatever means that you would like to. An hour of my time that I can help you out with whatever it is. If it's business, if it's podcasting, if you're struggling with addiction, mental health issues. I'm also a certified trainer. So if anybody's struggling with anything physical, I can also help you with that. So you get an hour of my time for free, no strings attached whatsoever.
Outstanding.
That's awesome.
And for anybody interested, the QR code over that way somewhere on the screen
Veterans
is
supporting
to
veterans.
the Veterans Supporting Veterans Facebook group. Check them out. Like Richard said, if you need resources, just want to help support, etc., go check them out.
And that is my group. I own that group, so I make sure that in order for you to be in there, you have to be a veteran. So I make sure that I keep it very clean, and not clean. I mean, I make sure that you're either a veteran or you're a spouse of a veteran helping that veteran. So you're not going to get hit with a bunch of spam when you come in.
Outstanding.
That's awesome. I'm going to I think somebody that I think would be really great for this is Michael Glenn. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna choose, if Michael is good with this, I'd really like to choose Michael Glenn to do this hour session with you, and I will get his information.
And again, once again, he's going to get the book for free. He'll get the hour talk for or whatever, and it's whatever he wants. So whatever he needs help with, that's what we'll talk about. And I'm not selling anything. I'm not upcharging anything. It's just an hour of my time. Just because I wish somebody would have gave me an hour of my time sometimes when I felt down and out, and that's why I want to do it. So you're not going to get and me trying to push anything on you. I'm just trying to help in any way I can.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Thank you
Oh,
so
and
much.
in response to your keeping it clean comment there, Theo said, "I keep it clean" is what the "buy me drinky" girls would say, over in the Philippines.
Yeah, he's in Mexico, so
I, I think he needs Jesus. I think Theo needs Jesus.
he does. Or Jesus.
Yeah, he's living down at he's living down there in TJ. He needs Jesus. His gardener's name's Jesus. uh,
Well, again, I'm really grateful that you came on and spent your time with us. Um, I know these guys really appreciate it. We joke around a lot, but our passion really is to bring awareness to veteran suicide, mental health, and addiction. Um, and also, we are really strong believers and, veterans helping veterans and supporting each other. We can't always, count on the government taking care of us. And the only way that we're really going to move forward is working together. And I'm just really grateful that you were willing to step on our platform and help us out with this. You are a wealth of information. And like I said to you earlier, I would love to sit down and pick your brain for a little bit and, talk to you about this. I could talk to you
You
for
let me
hours.
know whenever you want to get together. I'm in 100%. Whatever you guys need, I'm here for you guys. I want to see you grow and I want to see you guys succeed.
Thank you so much.
Review. Oh yeah, this is our pet therapy day over on Crown Eaters
Yeah, today's pet therapy today.
in Afghanistan. A new climate of change now allows victims access to their own therapy dog. Oh, this is the type of shenanigans we get up to over on Crown Eaters Life 1775. Come to face with the mother of all protesters. Trans rights. Oh, that might have been a good bad advice one. When you over torque your Jeep nuts. Whispered in my ear. Beth doesn't know anything about that one. Over. Brick is boil, not boil is brick. I think that might be or I guess I should say I feel targeted with that one. Yes, There's always that one boot. Anybody
Yep.
need an extra pin? All right, guys. Once again, Richard Kaufman here with Veterans Supporting Veterans and his podcast, multiple books. Thank you for coming on the show. Loved having you. You got an open invitation. Anytime you want to come back, let us know. Love to hear more about everything that you're doing. Maybe next time, if we get you back on the show, we can even throw up a couple clips of your podcast or whatever, just to show everybody what it's all about. Everybody that's watching, we love you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for
Hope
coming,
that
guys.
you'll continue to come and show us some support. And Richard, please stick around after we go offline so we can do a brief after actions and whatnot. Thank you all for coming once again. This is Jimmy, Beth, and Richard on the Smoking and Joking Show. And from the Smoke Pit, we're out.